Please welcome Cindy Akana.
Thank you very much. We are going to do Following the Star. It's a song I wrote. So I'm going to do the verses and you're going to come in on the chorus, but I want to start with the chorus just so you can hear what it goes like. A baby in a manger, a wonder in the barn, and you're never gonna miss it, never gonna miss it, following that star. And you're never gonna miss it, never gonna miss it, following that star. Try that with me. A baby in a manger, a wonder in the barn, and you're never gonna miss it, never gonna miss it, following that star. And you're never gonna miss it, never gonna miss it, following that star. Shepherds in the fields at night, they watch their flocks all night. Angels sing, a child's been born in Bethlehem tonight. A baby in a manger, a wonder in the barn, and you're never gonna miss it, never gonna miss it, following that star. And you're never gonna miss it, never gonna miss it, following that star. Magi came to honor him, born in Bethlehem. Herod was a jealous king, but he could not stop them. A baby in a manger, a wonder in the barn, and you're never gonna miss it, never gonna miss it, following that star. And you're never gonna miss it, never gonna miss it, following that star. Every year we gather round a tinsel-covered tree, knowing that the love of God is truly what we seek. A baby in a manger, a wonder in the barn, and you're never gonna miss it, never gonna miss it, following that star. And you're never gonna miss it, never gonna miss it, following that star. One more time. And you're never gonna miss it, never gonna miss it, following that star. Thanks for singing along. Did they have the verses up there too and the chorus too? Okay, good. So you couldn't see when I messed up. That's great. I'm like, I'm up there. They're like, what kind of word was that? So good morning, good morning. So good to be here. Don't forget me. Okay, that's Oscar. Oscar, we will not forget you, but your time isn't yet here yet. Okay. So we'll get to him later. Okay. Okay. I want to tell you a little bit about my own look on my Christmas. I have such really good memories, and it included Christmas Eve and Christmas. But I think Christmas Eve was the thing that really touched me the most. And so I have 3 siblings and me, so there's 4 of us, 2 boys, 2 girls, and my parents. And on Christmas Eve, my dad would get a big roaring fire going, the fireplace, and then we would all, and wasn't up on a mantle, it was down on the, low on the floor, right? So we would sit all around on the ground, on the carpet, and then we had made Christmas cookies, so we could go get, I'd go get my couple Russian tea cakes, we call them snowballs, get a couple snowballs, the sugar cutouts that we had all frosted and everything, and so all these cookies that we made together as a family, right? So I'd pick out my favorites. Those were my favorites, right? So I'd get them all, get several of them, and then I get a cup of eggnog. Oh, I loved eggnog. Don't like it now, but I loved it back then. So I'd get your eggnog and your cookies, and we'd sit at the fire, and you'd be eating, just like you knew Santa was going to do a little bit later when you'd leave him the crappy Now you leave them some good cookies. I didn't ever. So you'd be doing that, and then we would sing a little bit, and then my dad would get out the Bible and read the children's version of the Christmas story, because it was always a little bit more interesting for the kids, right? So get out the little children's Bible, and we would read that story, and and then we would light our Advent wreath. We would light the candle then that time would be the fifth candle. We're doing the one before Christmas or whatever. So we would light them all and do this little routine. It was all so cool, but my favorite part still hadn't come yet. So after we'd done all this and okay, it's so much fun and beautiful and everything like that, then we had a special candle in a little, it's a little holder, and you could hold it. You can just imagine those little kind of old ones that's little with the little, use this. So there was a special candle in there, our Christmas candle, and my dad would light that, right? And then he would take each one of us by ourselves. We got to carry the candle. We would walk down the hall. And the hall seemed, you wanted to go slow because you're in this hall and the candle's going. So the images of your dad and me, are like the shadows are on the walls, and it's so cool, right? And you're walking down with your Christmas candle, and then you'd get into, your bed and set it next to your bed and get in, and then Dad would tuck us all in, right? And Merry Christmas, I'll see you in the morning, right? And then he'd take the candle, he'd go back out. And then the next, and I think we went from youngest to oldest, and I was the second oldest. So my little sister, my little brother went first, and then myself, and then my older brother, right? Oh my gosh. That was like the coolest. And those are things I wanted to carry on, and they didn't really carry on into my family because when you marry a partner, your traditions become kind of, you bring them together, so you're not necessarily, you get to pick and choose which ones you want to do. And so that was okay that it didn't carry on, but I loved it, right? So then the next morning, okay, so we all go to bed, and then of course, no one sleeps, or you think you don't sleep, right? But eventually you fall asleep, and then you wake up, right? And then, but we could not go out down the hall and around the corner to see the big Christmas tree. We couldn't do that. We had to wait for Mom and Dad to get up. So of course, when they're like jumping up, come on, wake up, wake up, wake up. Dad always go, yeah, I gotta take a shower first. And we're like, no. And he would always do that, even though he never did, but he always say that, right? But then he'd get up, and his job was to go and get the roaring fire going again, right? So I'd get in there and get the fire going. And once the fire is up and going, then we could come out. And so the four of us are, we're all these little bit kids. There's four of us, and we're all crammed in the hall next to each other because we don't want to, who gets to go first, right? We're all going to go together. So then when he says go, we scamper down the hall and turn the corner, and then boom, there's the tree. And it's just presents loaded all over the place. And my dad was an aerospace engineer. So we were really fortunate on Christmas, I look back when you talk about white privilege, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that was my family. Okay. So, because I had no idea what was happening to my best friend 3 houses down. And we're going to actually talk about her story later, but not the same kind of thing at all, right? So here we're like, oh, big eyes, right? And then you're like, which one's mine? Which one's mine? We're not like going, which one's yours? We're like, which one's mine? And then if there was someone got a bike or something, it wasn't in the room, it was hidden somewhere else, right? So you didn't know if there was any big presents, like the year that I got my horse. Real horse. Yeah, okay. So that I would say, so Christmas was a really special time. And we talk about people like, oh, it's so magical. Wish we could have it year round. Are you kidding? If we had it year round, we'd be like, I gotta go buy another present for today. Whatever. It's like, no, it's magical because it is this season. It's a season of something. But it doesn't mean that whatever we're learning in that season or carrying in that season has to be left. I mean, we can practice. There's practices we can carry throughout the season. But the magic of the lights and the gifting, I love the way that you use that word. I'm going to shorten my talk because yours was so good. I'm cutting things out as we talk here. But, we know that not everyone has that same experience. Don't forget me. I got to get Oscar. This is his part. Yeah, you better believe it's my part. Don't forget me. Hi. I'm Oscar. Black Lives Matter. Beep. Thank you for that reminder. Yep. Well, I'm here to tell you my childhood story.
It's very sad. Get out your tissues.
You didn't tell me it was sad.
Yeah, it's very sad.
Okay. Get out your tissues.
Well, I had a psycho mom. Psycho mom. And she always got mad during the holidays. So we hated the holidays. Just kidding. But anyway, it was hard. It was sad. So I always wanted to go to Dad's for Christmas.
Yeah, what was that, Dad's?
Dad.
Oh, okay.
And Dad was Jewish, but we celebrated Christmas and he was fun.
Well, that's nice that you had your dad to go to.
Yep. Get away from Psycho Mom, go to Dad. That was Christmas. Yay!
Well, excellent.
Yeah. What was your Christmas like? I just told them. I know. I just want to show that yours was good and mine was bad. Well, sometimes bad.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that have those experiences.
Yes, that's right. How about raise?
No, we're not going to have them raise their hands out there and say.
Oh, okay. You can tell me later if you want to. We can commiserate in the parking lot where they mostly do the church politics anyway.
I think you know way too much.
Oh, I do.
Okay, well, you should go.
Yeah, I gotta go. Bye. Black Lives Matter. Bing.
Thank you, Oscar. I appreciate that. Yeah, actually, he told the story of my best friend. He channeled my best friend. That was kind of her Christmas with the psycho mom and the Jewish dad. So it's like, here's just, 2 doors down. Here's my best friend having a totally different experience that I never even realized that's what was happening for her, right? So people have all sorts of experiences. So I just want to talk a little bit about unfulfilled expectations. So there's a lot of us that are carrying around these expectations, right? And I know my dad was like that. He always wanted everyone to like his gifts. Could you put any more pressure on yourself? I mean, and he's so loving and so giving, right? But it's like he's just sitting there every time you open a present, like, are they gonna like it? And we're like, woo, woo. I don't remember any of us going like, what's this? Because you're like, it's a gift, it's cool, I've never had this before, right? And they picked out great gifts. But even to this day, when he sends gifts, there's this part of him, and I just thought, that is so stressful. And then, whether they like it or don't like it is based on your Christmas. But I mean, we all have stuff like that, right? So I'm saying it because my dad, right? And he's a great gift giver, but oh my gosh, the pain that he caused himself. Another one that unfulfilled, like, who do you want to be with for Christmas? That special someone that doesn't think you're special, right? We've had times like that. So maybe it's not an annual thing, but there's times in our lives where we go through this thing and we get to a holiday and we're like, oh, I got to go home and be with my mom and dad again. And I'd rather be with him or her or them, right? And so just, that is an expectation. Or we don't get to go home. We have to stay, like we're off at college and we don't get to come home. So that could be an unfulfilled expectation. Bad memories is another one that can come up if we're thinking about, like Oscar was saying, my friend Kim, who the bad memories of Christmas, she just thought, I'm not having Christmas anymore, it's not fun. I have another friend who every holiday was just screaming and yelling, and the rest of the days are fine. It's, you want that magical experience all year long? You're like, no, we're just save that for the holidays because the rest of the year is pretty good, right? I have a friend who, even like this, bad things happen. So my friend, her name is also Cindy, on Christmas Eve, her husband went to pick up some bikes for their kids, and coming home, he got hit by a car and died. I know. And that was like sobering, and we hear about it at the Christmas Eve service, and you're like going, I'm sorry, but why are we selling? I mean, it was so hard. And that every year comes around, she had 4 little kids, and here, it's so tragic, and that happens. And she's always going to associate that with Christmas, right? I still always remember it. It's a different kind of thing, but I always go, I'm not going anywhere Christmas Eve. That's, that's what I decided to do, but still, I send out, my prayers to her. just so that, again, that's connected. You have the idea of just poor relationships. You're not getting along well with the people that you live with. Your kids are just unruly, or they're just out of control. What do? They're going through those teenage years, whatever it is. Maybe you have a parent that gets drunk and is abusive. Maybe there's domestic violence happening between partners. There's situations like that people are living with. And when I think of all these, this is where I'm getting the Grinch, all of these are anxiety producing. They create anxiety within us. And when I think of anxiety and Christmas, I think of the Grinch. He is not a bah humbug like we know, like in the Christmas Carol. It's not the same character. He is so anxious over this joy that comes out of Whoville every Christmas. He takes away their Christmas because he's trying to not experience that joy. He doesn't want those people being joyful because somehow that hurts. So he's going to figure out, how can I just take Christmas away, and then that won't happen. And as we know, that is what happens. That is not what happens, right? He takes it all away, but they still are singing in the morning. But I think if you watch the whole story, this anxiety is also connected to the part that he is not included. He is excluded. So his anxiety comes from this joy that he doesn't get to participate in, and this community that he doesn't get to participate in. So whether which version of the Grinch you want to watch, in terms of what his background is, in terms of, there's a couple of them that show his poor childhood, it doesn't really matter, but he's at a point where he is feeling isolated and excluded from this joyful community. And when he realizes somehow he can be part of that, it changes very much. And it changes when he changes and decides to come back and give to it rather than take away from it. So that's where you can talk about a transformation. If we're talking about a Grinch, the thing being a Grinch in my Christmas is a Grinchmas. I like that. The thing is, it's okay to be in that spot. And we know in Unity teaching that there is no wrong. And so you don't have to go, I'm just feeling like crud again. What's wrong? I'm just so sorry. No, it's okay. It's okay. You can be the biggest Grinch you want to. You have that choice and that right. And you know what? Nobody can judge you for that, or they shouldn't, because you get to be that if you want to. And there might be a place and a purpose for that. So let's not judge that, right? We don't know what people are going through. But if we wanted to do something different, if we were in a place to do something different, what could we do? How do we replace that Grinch? How do we I like the idea of transforming the Grinch better than actually replacing, but transforming. So we have Grinchmas to Christmas. We have changing that inner Grinch into the child of the Christ child, right? Changing anxiety into peace, love, joy, forgiveness, and so much more, because that's what Christmas represents, as someone else said so well already, And so how do you make that transition? And there's a lot of things you can do, but I wanted to focus simply on some spiritual elements. And I'm not going to dive into them because you know what they are. I just want to kind of talk about them briefly. And one is acceptance. To say to yourself, you know what, this is where I am right now. I'm accepting where I am and what I have. And I'm going to let go of the fact that I don't have control over this. So just that, letting go, accepting. And that's a process. It doesn't actually sometimes it does just happen just like that, like my song. Sometimes it does, but it's okay if it's a process, if it's an ongoing process of letting that go. Acknowledging your plight and your feelings. I feel like a big fat Grinch. I know he's not fat, but I feel like a big fat Grinch. That's how I'm feeling. And then you just embrace it. It's part of who you are. We talk a lot about self-care, but the spiritual elements of self-care are forgiving yourself and forgiving others. So just forgiveness. So what are you blaming yourself for? What are you hanging on to that actually is creating an anxiety? Can you forgive yourself for that? That again is part of letting go, right? You're not hanging on to that anymore. And it's coupled with practicing gratitude. So forgiveness and gratitude. And if you forget what gratitude is, you have to go back and listen to my talk that I did a month ago. on gratitude. But gratitude, how do you be grateful, or are you grateful, and forgiveness, bringing those together is self-care at its finest. So does it cost money for any of that? No. I mean, it's great to get a massage. Sometimes that's how it reduces our stress, right? But the spiritual practice of forgiveness and gratitude doesn't cost a cent. And the third one I want to just touch on is asking for help. Prayer. Prayer, we know, is so powerful, but the thing about prayer is it connects us to that our inner God, our inner godliness, our inner divinity. So we're connecting to that. So the very thing that the Grinch wasn't able to do to connect, he couldn't even connect with his inner stuff at the time. At the end, he does when his heart grows, 3 sizes or whatever. So the prayer, it's a way of connecting to your divinity. And so you're connecting. And we often need that connection to be something other than the Grinch. I mean, that's what helps us move out. The other one is sharing with others. Share with others what's going on. Then that connects you with them, right? So you have a connection with your inner divinity, but then you also have a connection with your community. And don't take that lightly. We are social creatures, whether we're introverted or extroverted or ambiverted in the middle there. We need community. So whether it's one person or a huge group of people, it's like we need that. So share with other people what's going on. And if someone's given you the gift of sharing about who they are, accept it and embrace it. We're not judging it, right? Accept it and embracing it. And the last one I'll say is make an appointment with a professional spiritual leader, spiritual practitioner. Sometimes I've done several of those. They've just been so significant for me to go in and say, okay, this is what I want to look at. Here's what I want to work on. And you spend an hour with your spiritual practitioner. And what comes out of that is like, oh my gosh, this is just incredible. And I actually started spending less money on therapists when I started going to spiritual practitioners, because they are trained in such a way that are dealing with your mind. And that's what psychology is often doing, and connecting what you're thinking with your body. And the spiritual practitioners know how to do that. So I love that. I go, I'll pay them instead. And it's like half the price. And I realize the insurance doesn't pick it up, but it should. That's all I'm going to say about that. So with that said, I want to move into a song that just shows a little bit about how we view something. We can view the same thing different ways, right? And we all know that. So this is the song that's called God is With Us. And again, the beauty of the Christmas holiday season is that it isn't about a baby. It is about the fact that God is with us, is in us, is a part of us. And that is the miracle of Christmas. So technology is great. Sometimes it doesn't move as fast as I want it to. Show me a way, show me a sign that says we're not alone. 'Cause I've been inclined to think that I'm doing this on my own. But a friend said to me, what do you mean? That's what Christmas is all about. God came to earth, a baby at first, and called him Emmanuel. His name, Emmanuel. 'Cause God is with us here and now, and not out there somewhere. Christ, a baby Emmanuel, has come to bring both love stomach then in Bethlehem. Love is leading us home, so don't be afraid to draw him near. Let your Christmas be around. A gift of peace, a baby so sweet, the one in whom God dwells. His name, Emmanuel, 'cause God is with us here and now, and not out there somewhere. Christ, a baby Emmanuel, has come to bring both love and peace, that all might draw hope near, that all might draw hope near.
Oh, beautiful.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to move into a meditation first. So let's go into a meditation and just close your eyes and take a deep breath in. Get yourself centered around your breath. And we know that the breath is our very life. And I just want you to search through your body and find any anxiety that's sitting in your stomach, in your chest, in your legs, in your arms. Even when we're relaxed, there seems to be some kind of anxiety somewhere hiding. Just let that anxiety go. If it no longer serves you well, just release it. As we move into holiday season, and as Christmas Eve and Christmas Day get closer, what else do you want to release and let go? One of the best ways to do it is think about, what do you want to embrace instead? What do you want to replace it with? I want to replace my fear with joy. Welcome that joy into your heart, to your soul, into your mind. No matter what our circumstances are, we know that we can be content inside. Because the God within us is more powerful than anything negative. Just continue to breathe and release. expectations that you have for the holidays that you're willing to let go and just let the holidays be. Lazing by the fireplace with a cup of nog, Papa read the good book about a child of God. Laying in a manger in the town of Bethlehem, we'd light his candle and then sing amen. And the Christmas flame appeared brighter every year from the candle we lit on Christmas Eve. And the shadows on the wall danced to peace on earth, goodwill to all, until we climbed into our beds and went to sleep. 'Cause we believe. Gathered round a mighty feast, every season since, Grandma'd have a piece of pumpkin and a piece of mint. Clearing off the table, we'd light the Advent wreath, singing songs like the first Noel and with three keys. And the Christmas flame appeared brighter every year from the candle we lit on Christmas Eve. And the shadows on the wall danced to peace on earth, goodwill to all, till we climbed into our beds and went to sleep. 'Cause we believe, yes, we believe. Fast forward and the years go by, oh how one's faith can change. Sometimes it comes and goes like a wedding ring. The year my brother took an earthly leave, I was not looking forward to Christmas Eve. But the Christmas flame appeared so much brighter that year from the candle we lit on Christmas Eve. And the shadows on the wall danced to peace on earth, goodwill to all, till we climbed into our beds and went to sleep. Till we climbed into our beds and went to sleep. Till we climbed into our beds and went to sleep. I still